Hey YouTube, Jobin here. You may have seen my last video, which was basically me bugging out because Connecticut got hit with a huge snowstorm. Well, I say huge. Not really in terms of like depth of snow, but in terms of the character of the snow. It was really heavy and really sticky. And in terms of the time of year it hit us in, because basically all the trees still had their leaves on them. And so the snow stuck to the leaves, weighed down branches, weighed down limbs, weighed down whole trees until they just snapped. And this caused pretty massive devastation to the entire power grid. The number was 850,000, maybe 900,000 households in Connecticut were without power. And keep in mind, that's households, not people. And the population of the state is, I think, like 3.5 million or something. So it's basically everyone. There were entire towns, entire counties that were 80 to 100% without power. And, you know, the estimates are it's going to be at least a week to get it back. We got it back in a week, but there's still some places where people still don't have power. So we get up that morning, and we're like, what are we going to do? It's going to get really cold here. And actually, that Sunday, it was supposed to be an anniversary party for one of my sisters and her husband. And so what me and my parents decided is, we'll go stay with them for a couple days. We'll bring them their cake, we'll bring them their presents, and then we'll decide what to do from there. So I get all my gear together, because I'm thinking, you know, traveling might be difficult. I haven't seen the roads yet, and I know there's going to be tons of limbs down and stuff. And so, you know, I have like survival gear, I have like cutting tools and stuff. And kind of funny thing is, though, you know, driving through my town for the first few minutes, it looked like a bomb had went off. But we start getting into a less affected area, and suddenly it turns into this really nice fall day where it looks like almost nothing happened. You know, it's like 50 and sunny. Like half an inch of snow on the ground. But that was just, you know, like a few towns that basically didn't get hit. So we stayed with my sister for a few days. Then, for various reasons, we went up and stayed with my brother. And even a few days later, after crews had been working, the drive up to his place was kind of nasty. The roads were passable. But you could tell they perhaps hadn't been at one point, because there would be just stacks of branches on the side of the road. And there were some streets where every few feet there would be a tree limb on the line. Sometimes a bigger one had just smashed right through the lines. There would be power lines on the road. Broken trees, broken utility poles. Saw at least one person who had a tree fall on their car. So it was bad. You know, the governor was like declaring a state of emergency, asking for Connecticut to be declared an official disaster area so it could get like federal aid. And it needed it, because it's still not all put back together right. So I stayed with my brother. We didn't have power there for the first few days, but oddly enough, he had internet. Go figure. So we used a generator. I thought maybe I'd get a chance to do some videos up there, but somehow it just didn't happen. One day I went with him and we did some cleanup work for some families in his congregation. And we went to this one family's house. It was a pretty heavily treed lot. And like, you know, all around the perimeter of the yard there were big maple trees. And you could hardly walk in their yard because there were so many limbs on the ground when we got there. So we worked at that place all afternoon, which is actually kind of cool because I got to use stuff like this. This is my Fiskars X7 hatchet. I got it a while ago, just because I didn't really have a hatchet or an axe or anything. but I hadn't got to use it much. And this is an awesome deal. It's not really glamorous, even by axe standards. It's not a Grenfors Brooks or something. It's like $25 hatchet, but man, can it chop. Branches like this, one hit, no problem. Great tool. For some of the smaller stuff, my brother was using this. Yes, this is a cardboard sheath. This is why I have it now. I confiscated it. This is an old Ontario machete we got years ago. And we used it pretty hard. We're clearing a tree that had fallen in our yard and cut a shed in half. Seriously. And it broke. I don't know how. We were just chopping a branch and ping! And the last 2-3 inches just go flying off. We just kept using it. But I'm going to make him a Kydex sheath because cardboard is ridiculous. And it might need new handles too. So, future projects there. I left him my kukri machete so he could finish any cleanup that was left in his yard, the small stuff. But yeah, that's the interesting week I've had. I'm kind of tired, honestly. Came back to a lot of work for Lazy Lizard Gear, my business. A week plus of backed up orders. Still working through those. But it was interesting. It wasn't really a bad time. It was just a lot of stuff. It makes me feel tired now. But it was cool. So hopefully, I keep saying this, back to a regular YouTube shooting schedule. Got the contest coming up, which I've been talking about for a while. Haven't managed to put the video together yet. But there will be a contest and videos coming up from me soon. More projects and stuff, more reviews. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Take it easy and remember where your knife is. Catch you later, guys.